Hey guys, welcome back to the Rockford Ordinance. We are check check. Yep, we're working. What do you know? We got we got picture, we got sound, and we got a live stream full of Kalashnikovs, ARs, AKs, you name it. We're gonna talk about it. Looks like we got Joe back in the house finally. He's been MIA for a couple weeks, but last week he took a nap. Joe needed a little time to himself, a little sleepy bye. So little Joey took a nap, but that's okay. He's allowed once in a while, right? He's got a lot going on. He's got his channel going and his random rants, and as he calls it, his eat my shorts little thoughts for the day, so to speak. And it's really good. I enjoy getting over there sometimes. It's good to hear someone rant a little bit. It kind of relieves the stress you've got. So I like going over there checking out his random thoughts. He did one the other day, had some medical stuff to keep around the house, prepping everything from wound care to diabetic stuff, things like that. Pretty cool. What else? Was showing his old school AR, a lot of cool stuff. So check it out, and I think you guys will like it. Once in a while, it gets a bit spicy, but hey, that's okay. We're all big boys and girls, right? We can handle it. Other than that, boy, what a weird week, huh? Temperatures up, down, sideways. One day it's 40 some degrees. The next day it was like 2 or 5 degrees up here. But we made it to the range anyways. And man, did I have the day from hell on Sunday. I actually planned out the range trip. I was getting some good information. I do a lot of reloading, so I do a lot of cartridge testing, and I'm still working on the Buy 39 project, except, man, that's a tough one. I really want to give up on it because I have not made one stride toward making ammunition that's any more accurate than factory Russian steel case. I don't know if it's possible. Maybe the Russians have just perfected it, you know. I mean, how many years have they been making that round? And over here, you get so many people saying, well, it's junk Russian steel case. Maybe that junk Russian steel case is just the best damn thing to feed those guns with, right? I said that when steel case was going away, and everybody said, well, don't worry about it. There's going to be companies coming out with brass ammunition, and there'll be enough people making it that the price will drop, and we're going to get to shoot brass ammo. It's going to be so much better. And I said, well, wait a minute. What if we get all this great brass ammo and it's not running right? Maybe these guns, well, I know these guns are designed to be run on steel case. Maybe it sticks. Maybe we got chamber issues, all kinds of stuff. Well, let me tell you something. I loaded these rounds. Forget about the powder for a moment and how many grains and all that. But I loaded these uh, cartridges to the best of my knowledge, the best of my skills, as far as having all the same brass from the same batch, everything was the perfect length, and the case miles were perfect, and the primer pockets were uniform and perfect, and the primers were seated perfect, and the bullets were put to the exact same length with a bullet comparator, and the neck tension was perfect, and the crimp was there, and they were gorgeous. You couldn't make the dimensions of this round and put it together any better. uh if you were using microscopes. I mean, these things were just perfect. And I was using two different bullets. First, Hornady SST 7.62 by 39. That's what they are. Normally they'd just be, they'd list 30 caliber and they'd just be .310 instead of .308. But these were Hornady labels them 7.62 by 39. And they're SST rounds, so they're an expanding round. They've got a polymer tip on them. They look pretty badass. They expand like crazy. It's a hunting bullet essentially. But I loaded those, and then I loaded Nosler Varmageddon 123 grain, copper jacketed. Again, they've got the ballistic tips on them, and they're hunting bullets essentially, but they're 123 grain. As far as the way they fly, they'd fly the same as a full metal jacket Russian round, but they're nicer, smoother, more even everything than some of the Russian bullets that I've pulled and examined closely. And then for powder, I've got a bunch of different powders, but I've been using one that I hadn't done too much testing on, but the velocities were there and everything. 20, I can get it at a lighter load around 2,100 feet per second and get it up into those upper 2,200, 2,300s, similar to any Russian round, right? And I can't get this damn gun even under 2 MOA, and that's on multiple rifles. I just don't know what to do anymore. I don't know if it's the brass. I don't know. I don't know. So, I mean, that's okay. It's within spec, right? Some are 3 MOA. Once in a while I get 1 MOA, somewhere around there. I'm going to show you guys some targets with some of the stuff I shot. But Sunday, getting back to that, I was going out to the range I've made a ton of 5.56 223 ammo, and I've got my Aero Precision DMR. It's flat dark earth. You guys have seen it in the video, my DMR video, and I've had it quite a while, and I shoot it a lot. I just had never shown it on the channel really. So I load 55 grains, 68 grains, and 75 grain bullets. It's a 1 in 7 twist. It likes the heavier bullets, but it'll shoot a 55 grain sub MOA as well. Ballistic advantage barrel and all nice stuff, really nice stuff. It's a great rifle. And so I'm going to shoot that, and I'm going to test all 3 rounds on that, see how they do. And just so I can kind of solidify what I'm going to load across the board for 55 grain, 65 grain, and 70 or 68 grain and 75 grain. 1 load for each, and that's what I'm going to make from now on, right? And then I had loaded up some 308, some really special rounds for my precision bolt gun, my Savage Model 10. With some new Hornady ELD extra low drag match ammo. Man, these rounds just look awesome. And that turned out great. And then I had the AK rounds. I had everything ready the night before. My buddy was meeting me and we were going. And I shot maybe 5 groups out of the AR. And I pulled the trigger and click, nothing. I'm like, what's going on? I pull the charging handle back. Shell comes out, powder everywhere. Primer wasn't dented, and the bullet is stuck in the barrel. Now these loads were long for a reason. I'm trying to make the jump to the rifling less, so they were long, but not crazy. Anyhow, I don't know what happened. The powder looked wet inside that casing. I don't know what the heck happened, but that's neither here nor there. Bullet stuck in there. I had just started shooting for the day and had settled in. And this was a long ride to the range and everything. And I'm like, well, I'll just pop it out with a cleaning rod. And I realized I don't have one. This ain't an AK. And of course, it's not a 16-inch barrel. It's a 20-inch barrel. I got nothing to pop this thing out with. I tried mortaring it, everything. AK cleaning rod won't reach, this and that. I'm like, great, my day's shot. I'm here 15 minutes, day shot. And it just got worse and worse and worse, from Red Bull spilling all over the inside of my truck to you name it. It just kept getting bad. So my buddy says, hey, why don't you take one of those reeds over there and trim it up, see if you can't put it out. Well, I know better than that. But I'm so frustrated and mad. You know when you're angry and you're just like, if I had a hammer with me, I would have beat the hell out of the gun into a million pieces and thrown it in the garbage. I was that upset. But over nothing. It was just a combo of stuff. Anyhow, long story short, bullet's still stuck in the barrel. A reed is stuck in the barrel, along with a cleaning rod is stuck in the barrel. And I mean stuck. I'm like a beginner friggin' moron, and I can't even take it anywhere because I'm too embarrassed to take it somewhere and show some gunsmith what I did. You know, me, the expert, right? Supposed expert. I know better than this, but just one of those moments. So anyways, junk barrel. I don't know what I'm going to do. That wood is pounded in there so hard. I think maybe I'll heat the barrel up, plug the ends, heat the barrel up, and turn it into charcoal in there. Won't take that much heat, so it won't ruin the barrel. And once it turns to charcoal, hopefully it comes out. I basically made the best wall anchors man has ever seen. So the reed's in there, cleaning rod comes down, reed splits, goes around the cleaning rod like this, and it's stuck so tight in that barrel that using the weight of the barrel to dropping it while having something grab the cleaning rod won't get it out. Putting a vice grip on the cleaning rod and hitting it with a big ball peen won't take it out. Yeah, you name it. I got in, I drilled out the inside of the bullet, so all the lead's out, just the jacket's in there. Still can't get that out, even with I got a tiny easy out that's smaller than the bore, and went down in, hooked on. It still won't come out. Everything, that the point of the bullet must have jammed too with the wood. It's just a friggin' mess. So I'm junking it. I found a really, it's ends good because I bought today a match grade 20-inch purebred barrel, stainless steel, a tricked out crown, bunch of other stuff. It's blasted with 80 grit, so it's ready to be Cerakoted. Because I can't have a stainless barrel. I just can't deal with a silver barrel on a AR or anything. So I'm going to that's going to be our first Cerakote project. It's going to be FDE, which will look really cool. The whole gun will be FDE, including the optic. And you guys will see that as the first project coming out of our Cerakote thing. So that should be here in a few days. We'll spray it and bake it and get her mounted up. Talking to the barrel company, this thing's going to need to be broke in properly. I mean, you don't have to. And please, guys, don't take this as gospel, breaking in barrels. Usually that's stuff left for precision rifles. I guarantee you probably nobody here has ever broke in an AK barrel other than load up some steel case and slam away a couple mag dumps, say all ready to go, right? With the factory grease still in there and metal chips and everything else, right? I normally don't, other than like my bolt guns and stuff like that. But being stainless steel, it's pretty finely finished. But when you're cutting rifling, it leaves, microscopically, there can be some microscopic valleys and stuff that basically need to be smoothed out. And by that, I'm not saying the bullet's going to wear it, although it may take off some tiny microscopic stuff. But you're going to leave copper in there, and that copper fills in some of those crevices and whatnot. And according to them, the barrel will get much more accurate around 30 rounds. All of a sudden, you'll see a big shift in it, and boom. And they recommend, guys will scrub barrels like nuts. They'll use their regular solvent with a patch, and then they'll break out the bronze brush, and then they'll get some copper remover in there. And I do it, guys, on certain things, but I really hate using a metallic brush. You're best off to never use anything more than a nylon brush if you can. And instead of trying to get that barrel spotless of every bit of lead, like I said, that copper, I'm sorry. Uh, it smooths it out, and a little bit is a good thing. I've talked to guys that have put 600 rounds through a barrel, and guys will tell you, well, 600, let alone I know guys at 3, 4, 5,000 rounds, and the copper has, you'll hear stories. Oh, the copper will fill in the grooves, and you won't have any rifling any left. Essentially, you need to get that copper out of there, and it's just not true. 5,000 rounds is not going to fill in your grooves. Um, Depending on the barrel and how much experience I have, there's some barrels where I will take it all the way down and clean every bit of it out. And sometimes that's kind of a maintenance thing, kind of well into the life of the barrel. But in this case, I'm going to do the shoot, swab, shoot, swab, shoot, swab kind of thing at first, just because I want to see what this thing can really do. Now, the original barrel was a cheap ballistic advantage, modern series, nitrided, QPQ, and all that good stuff. And I'll tell you what, I would have stuck with it. I was really happy with it. The gun on a good day when I'm shooting well, the gun has a good day every day, right? Well, except for Sunday. But I'm the shooter's the one that doesn't have the good day, and maybe some ammo can be better or whatever. But with ammo out of the box, the thing could shoot anywhere from 0.75 to maybe 1.5 MOA. And that's great, right? With 55 grain, 68 grain, 75 grain, whatever you want to put in it, it'll shoot that. It gets better with the heavier bullets and it tightens up. But and that's what a primary arms GLX 2.5 by 10 scope. And yeah, just a good solid rifle. It always shoots well. Well, with this, I'm hoping everything else on this rifle is really good. I'm thinking with this barrel, maybe we get that thing to solid 3/4 or solid 1 MOA. I'm not looking for half MOA. I don't think that's going to happen out of many ARs. Not saying it can't, but it's not the norm. But I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to the Cerakote project, and I've got the gun just how I like it. And now with this, it'll even be better. The only thing we may upgrade is I may go to, let's just say an expensive scope and move that one over to one of the AKs. We'll see. Make more of a precision rifle and keep working on this project, this Spy 39 project. Anyhow, I know reloading and stuff like that bores a lot of you guys, but accuracy shouldn't. I'm at the point, and guys, deep down I'm an AK guy, but I am at the point where I'm ready to admit that AR-15s are just inherently more accurate. That's not to say there's not good AKs out there. I own just about everything that's been put out over the last 20 years, right? And as far as AKs go, and different variants of each model, custom boutique rifles, Yugos, Bulgarians, Russians, everything. I mean, Romanian, 14.5-inch barrels, 16-inch barrels, 9-inch barrels, 24-inch barrels, you name it. And they all shoot the same. They really do. I don't have a single AK that I can say this thing's a MOA gun. I just don't, even with hand loads. Um, so it's not like I'm saying, well, I've got one AK and it's, you know, um, it's inaccurate. Um, Again, they're not meant for that. I get it. All of them shoot right around 2 MOA, probably as an average. And I have one or two that'll shoot better. And I have shot MOA groups with them occasionally, um, but only like 3 round, maybe 5 round groups, right? Um, but that being said, I can pretty much take any of my ARs and on a good day, get it in that 1 to 1.5 MOA, no problem. Where that's a feet and a half on an AK. Um, it is what it is. They're perfectly acceptable from a military standpoint. Any rifle at 2.5 MOA, 3 MOA, it's fine. I mean, think about it. You're hitting a target this big. A man-sized target's 18 inches, right? If you're plunking them in there, it's fine. It's fine. It's doing its job. It's when you start. It was this By 39 project thing that just got me going on this whole thing, and I thought for sure I could make it better, and I just can't. Maybe I'm missing something that's inherent to that specific round, and I'm just doing it wrong. There may be guys out there that have some secret sauce, and boom, they're doing it. I haven't figured it out yet. It's not to say I'll quit trying. I'm just not going to try as much. How's that sound? And rest assured that if you're using decent steel case, that you're feeding it pretty good stuff. Um, yeah, maybe I haven't hit the right powder yet. I don't know. But you're limited in powders with the By 39 because the case size is so small. There's not a ton of powders out there that you can get enough powder in that case to get the speeds you need. A lot of times you're shooting compressed loads, and I've cranked them up there, guys. Let me tell you, man, I've been crunching bullets in those cases sometimes, but I've used CFE black, accurate 2015, accurate 2230, TAC, BLC2, you name it, I've tried it, and nothing is. Some are better than others, but none are great. So I don't know what to tell you. I'd like to see how accurate it is out of a bolt gun and compare it, but I don't know anybody with a bolt gun in 7.62 by 39 because it would be a cool hog round, right? Anyhow. So I'm excited for this AR. Let me show you a few groups here of what we shot. And it's limited stuff, and I've got writing all over it because I'm really keeping track of stuff. And guys, if you're going to the range and you're trying to keep track of accuracy or maybe a certain round, or maybe you're buying rounds off the shelf. Maybe you're buying some match grade ammo for whatever gun. It could be an AR, AK, AR-10, a Garand, whatever. And you're buying different rounds, if you're not buying ammo in bulk, that can be a problem, right? One week you go to the store and you get, all they got is this, so I'll buy that. Next week, all they got is this. And you're sighting in and doing, and there's a big difference sometimes between rounds, right? All I'm going to tell you is keep notes, copious notes. And when you're slapping down these notes, trust me when I tell you, when you get home or you look at them next week, you're not going to remember shit. You're going to be like, wait, I knew what I wrote down here, but it's not making sense. What bullet was that again? And at what range and how many grains? And you just won't remember. So take the time and write it out perfectly so you can understand it all. Come up with there's even sheets. Just get a range logbook is what I'm telling you. Or a dope card or dope book for each rifle. And I use these. These are Write in the Rain pads. And you can literally write in the rain. I use a pencil on them usually. They make these special Write in the Rain pens that are like $25 or something. That's ridiculous. I will tell you, gel pens will not stay permanent on these if they get wet. But the pages are kind of cool. They're coated and stuff. I use Sharpie. I use ballpoint. I use pencil. This happens to be pencil and Sharpie. and I keep track of velocities, everything. Not all the time, just sometimes. But it's nice to go back to later and go, man, what was I doing? Remember that time it shot so well? What the heck was that? I wish I could remember. Well, you'll have it. So I've got, for instance, this was our NPAP, and I was shooting it with a 1x6 primary arms uh, LPVO at 100 yards, and we were using a 310 Nosler bullet. So that's probably the Varmageddon. See, I didn't put down what it was, just a 310 Nosler. CFE black powder, we shot 25 grains, 20, we were doing ladders, 25, 25.5, 26, 26.5, so on. And here, it wasn't a bad day. 1.5 MOA. Here, there's always one that screws it up. 1.5 MOA, 1.5 MOA, 3 MOA. 2 at 1.5 and 2 at 3. Strange, right? Anyhow, that was March. Different stuff here. Here's that tan rifle I was shooting the other day. I was loading different bullets, 55. Here's a weird thing, guys. You know how, okay, if some of you guys may or may not know a lot about reloading, but when you chamber around and it's in the chamber and your barrel starts out here, let's say, or the rifling starts out here, the distance between where the ogive or thickest part of that bullet meets the rifling and where it sits in the chamber is the jump until it hits the rifling. So when it fires, that distance between where the round is chambered to when it hits the rifling is called the jump. And you want to make that jump as short as possible. Some guys will put the bullet touching the rifling. Others will put it just a hair off. So the minute it fires, it's in that rifling and starting to twist, right? Here's an interesting thing. I can, in every rifle I've ever done, I have a thing that checks the jump and tells me how long I need to, or where I need to seat that bullet. So it meets it. But on every rifle, I'm able to get that bullet out to where it meets the rifling, right? Or close. And there's one thing that can keep you from doing that, and that's on a magazine-fed gun, the max length bullet to fit in that mag, right? If the jump's too far and you got to load that bullet X length and it doesn't fit in the mag, well, now you'd have to shoot them by loading them one by one, which kind of defeats at least my purpose, right? We're not bench rest shooters. Anyhow, this rifle has that tan rifle with that barrel that's now screwed has an extreme distance to where the rifling starts. And since it's really the only AR I've ever checked this on, I don't know if it's inherent to ARs or if it's just that barrel and or receiver and or chamber, how they milled out the chamber. But so I needed the bullet to be the length with 55 grain at 3.030 inches, with the 68 grain 3.025 inches, and 75 grain 2.9825. The maximum mag length of the longest mag I have is 2.3 inches. So we're almost like we're a long way from being close to the lands. I can't even get close, which is kind of strange. I don't know. Anyhow, I never realized that I had written it all down. And then I looked at it today and I'm like, I wonder if I measured something wrong, because that's a long way off and that thing shoots really well. So who knows? Anyhow, here's some testing we did on that tan AR that you're going to see. And another ladder test we were doing with 75 grain match bullets. And the gun shot 2.5 MOA, 1.5 MOA, 2.25, 2.45, 2.25, 0.8. And that was with different grain loads of powder. So that's the change you saw. All the way from 0.8 with 27 grains And the worst one was 2.55 with 25.5 grains. So 2 grain difference, and that rifle went sub MOA from being more than 2 MOA. Pretty nifty. So I can look back at that, and I got the speeds. We were shooting anywhere at a low of about 2,700 feet per second. And at that low, the highest load we shot at sub MOA, we were running about 3,030 feet per second or so. So just interesting notes to have and look back at and compare. Now here's my Krebs rifle shooting, well, I don't know what bullets here because I didn't write it down. See what I'm talking about? Now, most likely these were, well, it was either SST or Armageddon, one of the two. But we started at 27.5 grains and went up to 29 grains. That's a lot of CFE black. And we started at 2,230 feet per second on the low end. And the fastest I got with 29 grains of powder was 2,339 feet per second. So we only changed about 100 feet per second in a grain and a half, or yeah, grain and a half. But I had on this. Nope, I didn't. We were just doing speeds. I don't know what it shot. See, I should have written that down. I probably have the target somewhere. Now, my Savage Bolt. Let's show you some targets. And this wasn't the numbers I was just reading off, but let me see what I got here. So here's our Savage Bolt action we shot with those killer rounds I loaded up, right? Here it is. And I write it on the target here too. Hornady ELD match, 168 grain bullet, 44 grains of Varget, overall cartridge length 2.7365, Savage Model 10 308. The first one we shot, 3 bullets, 0.687. Second one, 3.615. Third one, I went here third. I always go here third. I don't know what the hell I did here, but I must have had a flyer somewhere. No, it wasn't. It was a 3-round group, 1.9. And then here, 1.1. So if you average the, 1.1 there as well. If you average them, the gun was shooting a 3-round, 5-group average of 1.0906. So right about 1 MOA, okay? But the gun was capable, when the barrel was cooler, of just about half MOA. And that's